2v8 mode returns to Dead by Daylight as this nice little interim between the conclusion of Haunted by Daylight and the arrival of Bone Chill event in a couple of weeks, and we get some 2v8 action as the game mode returns tomorrow. Let's break down everything you need to know about that. The beloved 2v8 mode is returning, and a lot of changes since the first version, so much we couldn't squeeze it all into a regular developer update when we're gonna dive into it right now. Before we get started, it's important to note that everything below only applies to the 2v8 mode. It will not be in any of the regular matches. The first changes comes to cages. Survivors are now sent to cages after being picked up by a killer rather than being stomped on. When a survivor is near a cage survivor, the cage will no longer move even if the killer is nearby, and survivors perform the unhook action 15% faster when a killer is nearby. These are all changes to cages from the first version of 2v8. Flashlights didn't serve much purpose in the original version of the mode, as there were many opportunities to make saves, and the killers now need to pick up the survivor before sending them to the cage, giving survivors a chance to use their flashlight. To prevent killers from camping a cage survivor, the cage would normally disappear and randomly appear on another part of the map. This created some frustrating moments when someone was about to make a save only for the cage to move. We have changed this so cages no longer move as long as the survivors are nearby. So here's two new changes to generators. Generator repair speeds are reduced by 5% for each generator completed, and generator repair speeds are increased by 2.5% for each cage state. Dev note, 2v8 matches tend to be chaotic and swung heavily in favor of one role or the other. To help keep things from spiraling out of control early in the match, we have introduced a catch-up mechanic. The better the survivors are doing, the slower the repairs will be, and vice versa. In a close match, these effects will cancel each other out. Two more changes: generator Rs are only visible to killers within 64 meters, and generators being repaired by 2 or more survivors are revealed to the killers regardless of range. Dev note, with so many generators and survivors running around, the number of Rs being revealed can be overwhelming. This change will reduce the number of hours being shown at any given time, instead highlighting important areas instead. New maps: the added family residence, Dead Dog, Father Campbell's, the Rancid Abattoir, and Wreckers have all been added. We've added additional maps to the house. These chaotic trials, like the original set of maps, these have been given 2v8 treatment, making them larger than usual and featuring additional adjustments such as 3 exit gates. Now let's talk about the 3 new killers getting added to the repertoire you can choose from 2v8 mode. Killer debut, the Blight. New, the Blight is now available. Increased rush speed to 10.5 milliseconds, up from 9.2. Increased slam duration to 2 seconds, was 1.25, and increased turn rate to 1.1 was 0.9. Dev note, the other killer can be bounced again, so you can slam against your killer partner. Pretty interesting. Spirit makes her debut as well. Increased phase duration to 8 seconds was 5, increased phase recharge rate to 0.66 seconds was 0.3, and increased phase movement to 1.8, 1.6. This is basically all stuff to adjust for the fact that the maps are much larger. Dev note, the other killer is visible while phasing and cannot collide with Spirit while she is phased. So in this case, you can just run right through the other killer and see them on the map, which is kind of cool. The final new killer is Deathslinger. Decreased reload time to 2 seconds was 2.6, and increased reel speed to 3 milliseconds was 2.76. And finally, the dev note on Deathslinger is if the other killer hits a chain survivor, the chain breaks. Makes sense. Class overhaul: reworked all killer and survivor classes. Killer chases are no longer tied to a specific killer. Dev note, in the next version of 2v8, we have overhauled the class system from the ground up. Survivors now have powerful activatable abilities, some of which become available later in the match. Killer classes, meanwhile, have been redesigned and now can be selected from any available killer. Survivor classes have now the following abilities: class ability, providing passive effect to nearby teammates, as well as a strong activatable power. That active ability changes over time and gain additional charge when you or another survivor is uncaged. Info ability, granting RRE capabilities, and unlock ability, a secondary effect that unlocks after being sent to the cage. Additionally, survivors can use their class ability charge to pick themselves up from a dying state after recovering. Killer classes have the following abilities: class ability, provide bonus to themselves and their teammates. Info ability, providing aura reading or other forms of tracking. And ability to mori the last remaining survivor in trial. We'll delve into each available class further in this post. Balance and adjustment of specific killers to ensure smooth gameplay in 2v8 still exists. These are inherited killers rather than their classes. Refresher base kit effects, and these are all the returning effects. Damaging a generator reveals auras of survivors within 20 meters for 5 seconds. When starting a chase with the survivor, reveal their aura to the other killer for 5 seconds. That aura is removed if the other killer enters 16-meter radius. And when a generator is completed, survivors with no cage states are revealed to both killers for 10 seconds. Although classes are changing, we want to preserve the integral aura reveal when chasing a survivor from the original version of 2v8. We have also added the aura reveal effects to damaging generators to ensure the mode stays fast-paced. These abilities are available to all killers regardless of their class. So now we have some new killer classes. Shadow, new killer class. The ability within 32 meters of your teammate, you gain undetectable. If injuring a survivor transfers to undetectable effect to your teammate instead, this ability has a cooldown of 30 effects. Info ability, when your teammate initiates chase with the survivor, reveal that survivor for additional 4 seconds. The next class is Brute. Class ability, perform the break action 25% faster. Doing so grants a teammate within 32 meters a 10% haste effect for 8 seconds. The ability has a 30-second cooldown. And the info abilities, when damaging a generator, reveal survivors within an additional 8 meters. We also have Enforcer. Move 3% faster when chasing an injured survivor. When a teammate within 32 meters hits a survivor, they are marked and have their aura revealed for 12 seconds. Putting the survivor in a dying state grants your teammate a 60% lunge increase for 15 seconds. And this ability has a 30-second cooldown. And their info ability is when damaging a generator, nearby survivors are revealed for an additional 4 seconds. And finally, the Fearmonger is the final class. When unseen, gain 5% haste. When injuring a survivor more than 16 meters from your teammate, they gain 10% haste for 10 seconds. 30-second cooldown. Info ability, when generator is completed, reveal the aura of survivors with no cage states for an additional 4 seconds. Now, of course, along with killers classes, we had original survivor classes, and we bring back the original one, Medic. You and your survivors within 8 meters gain 50% heal, speed, bonus, and grunts of pain are reduced by 50%. When your ability is fully charged, press the action button and instantly heals all survivors within 8 meters by 50%. Reveal the aura of injured survivors within 128 meters is your info ability, and your unlock ability is while injured, your scratch marks are suppressed and your aura is revealed to all other survivors. Scout. Class ability, you and survivors within 8 meters move 100% faster while crouching. When you see a killer within 64 meters, reveal their aura to all survivors. And when your ability is fully charged, press the action button near a dropped or broken pallet to reset and rebuild it. Info ability, you reveal all the aura of the killer performing the break action for 6 seconds. And your unlock ability is your walking speed is increased by 25%, making no grunts of pain while doing so. The guide class. You and survivors within 8 meters gain an additional 3% bonus progress for great skill checks, and repair sounds are 50% quieter. When your ability is fully charged, press the action button and all nearby survivors an 8% speed bonus for 10 seconds. Your info ability is reveal the aura of all unrepaired generators within 32 meters. And unlock ability is when completing a generator, gain 5% charge per survivor nearby. The next time you work on a generator, those charges are immediately applied to a generator. And finally, we have Escapist. Class ability. When you or a survivor within 8 meters of you start sprinting, gain 50% haste for 3 seconds. This causes exhaustion for 20 seconds and cannot activate while exhausted. When your active ability is fully charged, press the action button to make all rush actions silent for you and nearby survivors for 8 seconds. Your info ability is read the aura of all pallets and vaults within 16 meters, and your unlock ability gain the ability to heal yourself without a medikit at 70% of normal healing speed. We did have some killer updates to original killers, and here's what they did to them. The Trapper, new. Trap auras are now visible to your teammates. Change. Increase haste after setting a bear trap to 15% was 8. Your teammate cannot trigger bear traps. Note, this was previously part of Trapper's class, but is now part of all the base kits for 2v8. That's good. The Wraith changed. Increase action speed for breaking walls, pallets, and generators, and vaulting by 60% while cloaked. Hillbilly changed. The chainsaw will now instantly down healthy survivors, and decrease chainsaw turn rate bonus to 30% was 44. Huntress, remove the previous 20% hatchet throw cooldown reduction, and nerfs. Survivors within 1 meter of a nurse blink will no longer scream. Until next time, Dead by Daylight. So there you have it. These are all the changes, the classes, the reworks, the base kits, 3 new killers. I like what they're doing. I like the pickup instead of the stomp for survivors now going to the cage. I like the cages don't disappear. We actually had a couple survivors die during stream because we went to save them and then their cage vanished and they died on hook. A lot of this stuff seems like really good changes. And as they mentioned previously, that 2v8 will go through quite a few iterations before it finally becomes a permanent mode. And this is the second version, or the 2.0 version if you want to refer to it as. And I like what they're doing with it. I think there's a lot of room for improvement still, but a lot of these changes seem to be have taken the results and the information that was given from the first round of 2v8 and then applied it to make it a better version this time. Now, of course, hopefully the queues aren't ungodly like last time, because if you wanted to play killer, you were waiting like 10 to 15 minutes, and I hope it's not this bad this time. But we're gonna see this tomorrow, of course, when we're live streaming Dead by Daylight 2v8 mode live here on the channel starting at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I want to hear your thoughts. Do you like the changes? Do you not like the changes? Do you think some stuff still needs work? Let me know in the comments below. As always, thanks for watching, and later, mates.